Hi guys, so today we're talking about our digital portfolio. We're going through each outcome and then each artifact that we put with the outcome. So for our first outcome, I picked my 7.4 Digital Citizenship Campaign Social Media Plan. So the purpose of this assignment was to develop a social media plan to support the campaign. Our campaign was prioritizing digital wellness. So I picked this one to align with our outcome, the teacher candidate integrates technology effectively, because I feel like this assignment made good points on why digital wellness is important without going into great detail. Doesn't have too much background info, but it gets the point across. So it definitely goes well with the teacher candidate did integrate technology effectively. What I learned from 7.4 and how it supports my future, it helped me learn more info on digital wellness as a whole, as well as implementing that into a good social media post and connecting with my classmates. So not only did I get to learn more about digital wellness, how to set up a nice looking social media post, but I also got to connect with my classmates because it was a group assignment. So all of these things I will use in my future, obviously, because I will need to know digital wellness, the goods and bads. I will need to know, honestly, how to make a social media post if it ever comes down to posting, like, to parents or to students or even coworkers. Social media is a big thing, especially now, so learning that will definitely be helpful in my future, as well as connecting with my classmates because I had to work side by side with them on different things, talk about them with different things, and I will obviously how to do that in my future working with coworkers. So for my second one, I picked 13.5 individual assignment. It was an educational blog. So the purpose of this assignment was to research, organize, and format a blog. So mine was talking about AI in the classroom. I picked this one to align with number 2, the teacher candidate is consistent with effectively integrating technology, because it shows the research and explanation side of things and shows understanding without it being too crazy. So like I said before, like it wasn't anything crazy, there wasn't a lot, but there was more research. So not only did it integrate technology effectively, but it was very consistent throughout the whole blog, which is why I feel like it went well with this outcome. So what I learned, how it supports deeper knowledge of AI in general, how to integrate it in the classroom as well. And I also studied both sides of things and how to set up a good looking blog. So not only did I learn about AI in the classroom, learn both sides of things, the goods and the bads, the disagreements and agreements, but I did learn how to set up a good blog, which I've never done before. I'm not into blogs. I don't write blogs. So not only did I research AI, I had to research a good blog and go off of that and how to set up a good blog. I feel like honestly, all of these I will use in my future as well, because obviously, again, where we are today in life, I need to know how artificial intelligence does go into the classroom. And so getting deeper knowledge of how you use AI and how you integrate it into the classroom is a very big deal. Which is definitely what I learned most about. And then, honestly, like how, setting up a good blog, especially as an educator, I feel like we've talked about professional development. I feel like a lot of things are written out, and blogs are becoming a bigger thing, especially with education. And so I'll definitely know how to do that. Okay, moving on to my third one. I picked my 5.6 SAMR infographic. So the purpose of this assignment was to create an infographic that demonstrates your SAMR knowledge. So I feel like it aligns with my outcome. The teacher candidate is consistent with effectively integrating technology in targeted value-added ways. I feel like it aligns with this very well because the infographic goes into depth about each step of ASMR, as well as shows how you can use it in the real life and getting feedback. Which the feedback is a big one, and why I put it with this one. Because if you also know the practice type was the oriented practice with feedback. And so going into this assignment, we not only gave feedback to your classmates, but you also got feedback back from your classmates, which will go into what I learned and how it works, so how it supports my future. I learned a lot more about each step of SAMR. I honestly had no clue what SAMR was until we learned about it, so I learned a lot more about it, how to use it in the real world in general, And then, of course, making a good-looking infographic, because I've never made an infographic before, so going into that. And then also learning how to use a rubric on Canvas to grade classmates' assignments. So when we did feedback, I had to learn how to leave notes and how to use the rubric in general. So all these, obviously, I will use in the future, because SAMR is a big part of educational technology in the classroom. Infographics are a very big thing, especially now when everything's online, and so infographics, they're a big graph of info. So having a good looking one, a good setup one, will definitely be important in the future. And then obviously giving feedback to your classmates, it's just like giving feedback to your students, and so learning how to do that now in a nice, effective, clean, easy way, obviously I'll use in the future. Okay, my fourth outcome, I picked my 14.5 group assignment. It was my virtual PD event promotion. So this was our most recent assignment. So the purpose of this assignment was to create an inviting, engaging promotion for virtual professional development events and the registration form with working QR and links. So I feel like this one aligned well with the outcome. As a function of professional practice, the teacher candidate continually refines integrating technology in targeted, value-added ways. This assignment not only made me explore and research the basics of the topic, but also made me find all that put all the components of this assignment, like the QR codes, links, forms, etc., actually work. Which is much deeper than the research itself. That's why I feel like it went well with not only did it integrate the technology, but targeted value weight. It had so many different things put together, so many different technology things in one little technology assignment. Yes, so what I learned and how it supports, going back, I learned more about Zoom, because that's what we picked. At least I picked for my personal or professional development. I learned more about Zoom as a whole and what all Zoom had to offer, as well as making a well-looking and inviting promotional flyer, which is very important, and learning how to make QR codes, Zoom meetings, and Google Forms. I've never made a QR code before. I have made Google Forms before, but making it definitely look more appealing and like it's going to be used in real life, I have not. So that was fun to mess around with. And Zoom meetings, I've never had a Zoom meeting, so I've only joined them, and I've joined maybe 2. So hosting my own one, I had to learn how to host it and how to make those links work correctly, where you would actually go and find that Zoom and not just the website, if that makes sense. So, and then obviously all of these I'll be able to use in my future. They'll be very helpful in my future, especially, again, how we're going in life. So Zoom's getting way more use QR codes, links, stuff like that online on technology is a big thing. You want them to work. And so not just learning at Zoom as a whole, but how to set all of those up yourself, not just as a student side, but a teacher side, definitely going to be helpful in the future. So for our last outcome, I picked my 11.5 AI policy. So the purpose of this assignment was to think about the use of AI and develop guidelines, rules, a syllabus for your future classroom, plus exploration of your philosophy concerning AI and AI tools. So I feel like this aligned well with the outcome. Given the availability of technology, the teacher candidate creates new and innovative approaches to effectively integrating technology in target value-added ways that are responsive to context and culture. So I picked this one because the assignment shows understanding of AI, how to use it in the classroom, as well as this assignment can be used in the real world and works well with context and culture. I also put relevancy, and so that one's not really added in the outcome, but I feel like as a whole, this is very relevant today because, like I said before, AI is becoming insane in the classroom and out of the classroom. And so this policy I can easily use in my classroom. And even if you go and look at my assignment, my policy, the years are when I will actually be a teacher. I feel like it aligns well because I'm not only integrating technology, but it has a straight target, which is AI. It has value-added ways like how to work well with students and what would work well in the classroom, as well as getting context and culture Not everyone will have the same way to get to AI, and so it all needs to be fair in a way, which is, I feel like, it's very context, it's very straight to the point, which I feel like it went well with this outcome. What I learned and how it supports. I learned deeper knowledge of integrating AI into the classroom, and then how to make a good classroom policy write-up. So obviously I've never had a classroom yet, and so I haven't had to write classroom policy, and so not only learning about AI in the classroom, but learning about what makes a good policy and what should be in a policy and how to set it up correctly where it's all easy to find, was also a very big thing for this assignment. And then again, like, this assignment is very relevant to what's going on in the real world. Not saying that anything else wasn't, because obviously, like, SAMR is, and, whatever else I've talked about, virtual professional development, they're all very big things in what's going on in the real world, but I feel like AI as a whole will be a very big thing in the classroom, for me at least, and I feel like 'cause it's growing so much. So that's where I'm at on that. So obviously I'll be very helpful for what's going on, because I'll need to know how to make a policy and things like that again. So the very last question in this was, I lost it. Your future goals. So in the video, describe how you plan to continue developing your technology integration skills. So it says identify at least one PLN or resource. So I picked a few. I thought about 3 as soon as I read this question. LinkedIn, we've just talked about this in our last assignment. I feel like LinkedIn is a very big thing just because, like, it's on your phone. Like, I get so many messages from LinkedIn about, different links, different jobs, different people looking for jobs, friends trying to connect with you, future or current coworkers, different articles based on different things, keeping you up to date. I feel like LinkedIn's a very big one because it covers so much ground. So definitely making sure I stay ahead on LinkedIn and know and look for what I'm looking for on LinkedIn to make sure my professional learning network and my technology keeps up to date. So, like, my technology will definitely develop based on being able to stay up to date on LinkedIn, as well as EduTopia. We've used this in the classroom a lot. Not only for me, could I use it in the future for developing technology, but I can also use it for my students to develop technology and use it in the classroom in general. So I feel like that was a good one to write down just because they have a lot of different articles on different things, and they're always new ones, and so definitely continuing to develop the technology integration skills, EduTopia will be a very good one to go for. As well as EdCamps. I know EdCamps, we've talked a little bit about. I've never heard of them until one of our assignments. So just making sure I'm keeping up to date on EdCamps, finding different ones to go see, maybe like in the future, talking in one, things like that, will definitely help me continue developing my technology integration skills as a whole.